Viewers and subscribers, welcome back to Beating the Press podcast. I am your host, Rafa. Now, coming up in this evening's podcast, we're going to be looking ahead to the EPL action coming up on the weekend. We're going to be looking at Manchester United taking on Spurs, another big matchup. We're also going to be zooming in on Chelsea versus Brighton. Now, of course, joining me this evening to talk some EPL football, we have returning to the podcast, Sir Cole.
Good evening. Good to be back as usual.
We also have returning to the podcast, Christoph.
Good to be back, viewers.
Gents, welcome. So we're not gonna waste any time, gents. We're gonna jump straight into the action. The first big game on the agenda. The first big matchup, Chelsea versus Brighton. Sir Cole, I'm gonna come to you directly on this one. What are your thoughts going into this big matchup, Chelsea versus Brighton? Of course, Chelsea playing this one at home.
I think this will be a very good matchup. I observed Brighton on the weekend, not just watch the game. I observed Brighton, and I was really impressed with Brighton's play. I think Chelsea as well has also improved, especially attacking wise, and I think it will make a very entertaining fixture for this weekend.
So have you observed Chelsea, Sir Cole, or it's just Brighton you observed?
I did see Chelsea, but I paid keener attention to Brighton, I would say. Um, both defenses should have their work cut out. Both teams look to have done a lot of work offensively. I expect both teams to score. No matter of who takes the majority of the chances, but I expect a very good attacking game and very good game for the neutrals.
Definitely. I mean, Brighton is off to a stellar start, and so too Chelsea. Both teams, up there towards the top of the league. But Christoph, I'll come to you on this one. Give us your take. What says you in this matchup?
Um, at the moment, I kind of feel like it's a difficult game to call because I personally feel like both teams are somewhat evenly matched, and probably especially because we're not 100% sure of this Chelsea team. We don't know
You're still
what
not
to expect.
convinced.
I don't know what to expect from them, to be honest.
It's gonna take some convincing for you then to get that confidence.
Yeah, I need to see, some more performances with them to say, but I don't know what to expect on a game by game basis for most games with Chelsea.
Well, I mean, they did have a very good performance versus West Ham, I would say, in the last match. Definitely a good performance there, coming away big winners, and they should be coming into this game full of confidence, in all honesty. And of course,
I
they're
feel
playing at
like
home.
West Ham underperformed in that game. If I recall, it was Chelsea scored all of their goals on the counter attack, right? In that game.
Yeah, you could say quick breakaways, I would say quick
Right, right. So
breakaways.
I thought West Ham were sloppy and underperformed in that game. So I don't want to use that as judgment to say Chelsea were excellent. If one team severely underperforms, I'm not going to say, the winning team did perform excellently if one team had a bad game, you know?
Mm.
To me, that's what it looked like to me. West Ham had a poor game.
Right. Well, I mean, I concur. I mean, it was definitely a poor game. But Sir Cole, which one of those teams have impressed you the most thus far this season? Is it Chelsea, or are you more impressed by the Brighton performance? Which one would you say you're leaning more towards? Performance-wise, of course.
I really go with Chelsea. Not to take
Mm,
anything away from Brighton, but I'd really go with Chelsea. Considering the number of options they have, I think they really have settled to an 11, which you know can fairly with great certainty predict, and the results are coming. Um, I won't say that West Ham necessarily had a bad game. If all three goals were scored on the counter, is more a matter of Chelsea executing well, as opposed to necessarily West Ham not really showing up as they should. West Ham really and truly has not been playing well. Yes, we know, but Chelsea went there and did what they ought to have done with great aplomb, I would say. But yes, in terms of who I'm more impressed with, I go with Chelsea.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, I would say uh Brighton has definitely impressed me offensively, but I have a lot of question marks defensively over this Brighton team. And I think that is what may play into Chelsea's hand come this weekend, in all honesty. As you said, both teams should come out firing, so it wouldn't surprise me if there's goals at both ends. But to me, I just don't have that much confidence in Brighton at the moment. I'm a bit more confident, slightly more confident in the Chelsea defense. And of course, offensively, once you have that man Cole Palmer, then you're always a threat. And it seems as if Jackson has found his scoring boots as well, Sir Cole. I mean, he has been one of the standouts thus far in this early part of the season, I would say.
Yes, I will concur. Many persons have criticized Jackson for missing chances. To me, that you want your striker to miss, but it means that he's actually getting into space to be in position to get the chance, which is the first prerequisite you want in your striker, to be in position to get the chance. Once you're getting the chances, even if you miss 4 or 5, once you put in 2 or 3, you're good. So, so
Well,
to me, that is what that's a key factor. He has come in, he has taken his chances, and Chelsea is benefiting from his presence on the field.
definitely, definitely. But Christoph, I mean, from a Brighton's point of view, who have been the impressive standout performer that you've observed? Who is that man that should be leading the Brighton charge? Is it the old wily veteran Welbeck who has been banging in the goals early?
Um, Welbeck has
Former
been
Arsenal
going.
man, of course.
Welbeck has been
And
going through
Manu,
a bit of a renaissance, and I must say I'm pretty surprised at his performances over the last 2 3 seasons, to be honest. Because when fit, he does put on a good show. He performs well. He scores goals or he creates chances. Um, but for me, um, and for a very long time, I've always thought that Brighton's major threat is on the right wing.
No, you're talking about the Japanese Mitoma.
That is correct. I have always thought Mitoma were their most dangerous
but
player for a number of years.
right or left wing, is he more on the left as opposed to the right?
I
Yeah, I think
mostly
he's,
see.
he's more predominantly left-sided in all
He's
honesty.
a
I
left
thought
sided
Well,
it's,
player.
if he
yeah.
switched to left, but I
I
remember.
think Minte is a new player they signed, which seems to be operating from the right
On the
wing.
right hand side.
But I guess,
But yeah,
sometimes there's interchangeability among the players as well.
yeah, there's interchangeability, but
Mm,
Mitoma, I think, is where the outlet is for Brighton. Not that you should focus all your attacks through one side or through one player, but his dribbling ability, his ability to create chances and find that final pass, it cannot be understated for them.
Yeah, a standout performer not only last season, but he has started off the season well. But Sir Cole, in terms of a scoreline for this one, I mean, we've been giving a detailed breakdown. We've been looking at standout players, but at the end of the day, it's who is going to put the ball in the back of the net. Who will come out away from this one with the 3 points? What says you? What's your prediction of a winner and the scoreline?
I'm looking forward to an exciting thriller. I'm calling it Chelsea 3 goals to 2.
3 goals to 2, Chelsea. Bold call there, Sir Cole. Very bold call. Christoph, what says you?
I've thought about it, and I kind of feel like I'd give the edge to Chelsea. Like you said, Nicholas Jackson finding his shooting boots, Christopher Nkunku also finding those shooting boots, and we know with Cole Palmer fit and revving that there's always that potential for goals from him, and he's found a lot more assists so far this season. So I, I was actually going to say the same scoreline as Sir Cole, Chelsea 3-2.
For me, I do expect goals, but I can't see the separation between these two teams in all honesty. So for me, I'm gonna sit on the fence for this one. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a 2-2 draw. I can see where both teams will get on the score sheet, and as I mentioned earlier, That defense from Brighton hasn't really impressed me that much. Pretty much giving up 2 goals to Nottingham Forest in their last game. That game ended in a 2-2 draw. Uh, both, I believe, both coaches in that game as well, Circle, was sent off with red cards. So possibly the Brighton coach may not necessarily be on the bench. Obviously, we know with modern technology, he will still be instructing his team, but it may be from the stands. So that may factor into the game as well, but who to tell? But I'm going to go on the fence with this one and say this one will end in a draw.
Well,
But yeah,
very possible until the game is played. Brighton also have the tools to get a result, but I think the home team I think should benefit from the home team advantage in this game and come out victorious.
the ball is wrong indeed. But we move circle and we move to the theater of dreams. Lately, the theater of nightmares, it would seem, leaking roof and all these things circle. But Manchester United plays host to Tottenham Hotspur circle, and I'm gonna start you off with this one. Talk to us about this big matchup coming up. Is this a must-win game for Manchester United at this early stage of the season?
No, man, there's no must-win game as yet. It would be good to get a result, yes, but there's no. It is not by any means a must-win game. Expect a tactical encounter. Man, Spurs sometimes blow hot, sometimes blows cold. So too, Man U. Not sure exactly which of each or which of either will turn up, but hope I'm hoping that Man U can find something in this one.
Well, they are definitely at home, and I gather uh, some positive results have been found at home as of late, but definitely Spurs will be coming to play some football, and we know the genius that Pochettino is. He has these players really playing to his system, really adapting to his tactics. And it's really fun to watch the Spurs team move the football from defense to midfield to attack. I think what's missing from this first team has been the finishing over the last couple of games. If they can get that right, Solanke was injured earlier in the season. He is now back, possibly up to full fitness once they encounter Manchester United. So it would not surprise me if I saw Spurs getting on the score sheet multiple times. But Christoph, what's your take on this game? What's your take on this matchup? Can Spurs get the better of Manchester United at Old Trafford?
It's a bit difficult to say because this season so far we've seen where um I would say United has started far better than they did last season. They're not back to the United of old, so to speak. They're not
Well, I
in
doubt they will ever get back to the United of old. You would have to go what's the word? Reincarnate Sir Alex. I doubt Manchester United will ever get back to that level, in all honesty.
um so with them, Sir Cole said Tottenham is hot or cold, but it's kind of the same thing with Man United. It's two teams who are hot and cold so far, and they have identical results so far. One draw, two losses and two wins. Both on 7 points, I believe, in the league. It's a bit difficult to say who will win. We know that Ange is very good with these bigger games. He does come out with strategies on how to beat certain teams. Last season, though, however, we didn't see them play any particularly. What I think would be the strategy for Man United is that um we know Man U does their best work on the counter attack, and we've seen last season and again so far this season we've not really seen them break down teams to score goals. We've seen them getting the goals on the counter attacks, on breakaways, on maybe quick turnovers, but we haven't seen them break anybody down and score any goals. So for me, you want to beat Man United, you just beat them at their own game. That would be the easiest thing. Play in a mid block. They can't play around you, they can't play through you, and counter attack them. because we've seen that the defense is still a bit shaky, not as bad as it was in previous years. Onana is not as bad as he was last season, right? But
Well, they have gotten some defensive reinforcement as well, so that should
right,
help out.
that should definitely help out. But as we said, we know they can't break you down. So why give them the opportunity to do so? Use a mid block when you're defending, mid to low block, but you play under counter. But
Well,
Postecoglou
I'm not
might
sure if
feel
that
like
is
he
really the
is
Spurs style, though, Christoph. The Spurs style is
Postecoglou
really
might
possession
feel
based.
he is better than Man United, and then he
Yeah, for
will take
sure.
the
I mean,
game to
he
them.
would have been entering the game with that thinking. I mean, I don't think Ange's gonna change his approach or his style, which is a possession-based team. Even though the threat is from the counter, obviously he would probably have to make some provision to stop that counter. Possibly employ a pep tactic, which is to take that professional fall and disrupt the counter from the jump. What says you,
Uh,
though, Sir Cole? What's the approach you think a Ten Hag will take since I mean, you're a Man United fan, true and true. So what's the Ten Hag approach you think he will go with for this one? And does Rashford come back into the team?
I don't see him trying to outpossess Spurs. So clearly, it's the tried, tested, sometimes prove, sometimes fail. Method of playing on the counter.
Well, I mean, Sir Cole, you don't sound too confident this is Manchester United team at all. I mean, what's going on there? What's going on with the confidence?
Well, it's not a matter of being confident, it's just a matter of being real. The
Mm.
results so far, I say we have what, lost twice, won twice, and drawn. So yeah, the results are varied. So when the results inspire more confidence, then the confidence will be more outstanding, more visible. But right now, it's fairly subdued, I would say.
Mm. So, but does Rashford come back into the team circle? We saw him being benched versus Crystal Palace in the last outing in the EPL. Is he a player that you'll be looking to take back into the starting 11, or does he persist with Garnacho getting that start?
He can take back a place on the starting 11. Personally, I would start it.
Mm. Oh, so you would definitely
Mm.
go, is it Zerkski, Rashford, and Ahmad as your front three then?
Yes, that's the starting as the attacking thrust that I will look to.
Okay, okay.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, definitely some selection headache might be brewing for Manchester United coach Ten Hag. Lots of offensive options at this point to choose from. Hoyland also came back from injury as well, Circo, so he could be a weapon off the bench. One of the things we often forget is that in the EPL now, you are allowed 5 substitutions. So subs can play a very critical role in games. For example, we see a sub like Duran coming on almost in every game and getting a goal circle. So the substitutions a coach make could be the difference, especially in these tight knitted games. And this could be one of those games where the subs have a big impact on the outcome of this one.
That was my original thinking that the subs will probably be the ones to decide this one, and I'm thinking that Garnacho off the bench probably offers a bit more potency as opposed to the Spurs options.
Definitely
Mm.
that's comes into the thinking for sure. Depth probably the edge in terms of squad depth at this point will go to Manchester United. But if you can get the job done with the first 11, as Spurs have been doing to some extent,
Mhm.
then that should be good enough. But Christoph, what's your take in terms of a score line though? Who do you see coming from this one, the winners, and what's your predicted score?
um, I would say I give Spurs probably the edge in this game tactically and in terms of quality, but I feel like this might be a drawn game. I would say 2-2,
Oh, 2-2.
right?
This is a tough one to call, to be honest. It's a tough game. and the draw is a distinct possibility. But I'm gonna go out on a limb for this one, Sir Cole. I'm gonna back Spurs for this one. I'm gonna go Spurs to win 2-1. What says you, Sir Cole?
Well, for this game, we have three separate calls. I'm thinking that despite much Bournemouth action, only one goal will go in. I'm calling Manu for a late goal, and I'm calling a 1-0 win.
1-0 win for the United. That's a possibility. Clean sheet was kept versus Crystal Palace in the last game as well, so it's not beyond the realm of possibility. But personally, I just think Spurs, having observed Spurs circle, I see Spurs really playing some quality football, and what has been lacking in the games they have failed to get a result from is the finishing. I saw it in the Leicester game they played. I saw it in the Newcastle game which they played, and what was lacking was a finisher. Solanke is now back, and I think he will offer a big goal more threat to this Manchester United defense, and I don't see Onana keeping Spurs at bay for 90 minutes. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to back the Spurs team to get a 2-1 win away from home versus this Manchester United team. But we move, and there are a number of other games on the agenda. We're just going to quickly run through these games and see what your thoughts are. So, the first one on the agenda, circle, Newcastle versus Man City. How do you see that one playing out? Newcastle at home
Newcastle
versus
Newcastle
Man
has
City.
not produced the type of football they were playing last season, looking very lackluster, I think, so far this season. And I'm thinking it will be another 3 points for Man City.
3 points from Man City. I can't disagree with that call at all. Yeah, I think Newcastle have just been lucky to have gotten the number of points they've gotten thus far. And to me, this should be a routine win for a ruthless Manchester City at this point in time. But Christoph, Arsenal entertains Leicester City. How do you see that one? Is this a routine win for a Arsenal team that must have been disappointed on the weekend prior?
I think Arsenal win 2-0.
Arsenal to win this one 2-0. Any standout performance you're looking at, or this should be just a top trophy contender versus a potential relegation candidate?
I mean, if I would say any standout performance, I'm expecting standout performance from a Kai Havertz or a Trossard, and potentially Calafiori and Timber.
You're saying Calafiori should be given the start over Ben White again? Is it a case where Ben White will now be occupying the bench permanently?
No, if I recall, Ben White was recovering from an injury, which is why he was benched. But Calafiori did a good job in his cameo against Atalanta, and did well against Man City. I think he should retain his position.
Well,
Um,
it'd be shocking. I mean, having scored that sublime goal,
and
it would be rather ruthless of Arteta if he went straight back to the bench.
I think I think Timber has been doing a good job, so potentially he should also keep his place. Not that Ben White has done anything wrong, but if he's recovering from injury and we have players who can play that role, I think let him continue recovering fully before returning him to the starting lineup. But then, obviously there's going to be some selection headache about who is going to start afterwards. But for now, I think Timber and Calafiori should retain their positions.
Indeed, yeah, I believe it should definitely be a routine win for Arsenal, keeping the pressure on up there at the top of the table. But Sir Cole, Brentford versus West Ham.
Even game. Uh, Judging both teams, Brentford has started very well offensively despite losing Wissa and Tony. One through injury, one through transfer. West Ham should fancy their chances against a Brentford team, which I think we probably has conceded almost every game so far. So I think West Ham will be keen for these 3 points going out to get them, and I think I'm calling West Ham for this one. West Ham 2-1.
Wow, that's a big, huge call there, Sir
Mm.
Cole. I mean, West Ham is coming off a battering from Liverpool midweek as well, Sir Cole. Will their confidence recover enough after that decimation at Anfield, 5 goals to 1.
Yeah, man, they will wake up. I mean, the priority must be the league as opposed to the Carabao Cup. But therefore, yeah, it just get that loss out the way, recover, get these 3 points on the weekend.
I beg to differ. I think Brentford will uh put another nail in the coffin of Lopetegui. In all honesty, Sir Cole, I'm gonna venture in the opposite direction on this one. I think Brentford will get the 3 points. I think the confidence of this West Ham team has just drained from the entire team, and I see no way back for Lopetegui. To be honest, it would be very shocking if he lasted 10 games, Sir Cole. I think he may very well be the first managerial casualty of this new season. But time is the master.
You
Time
don't
will
think it will be
tell.
Ten Hag?
No, definitely not. I want Ten Hag to remain in his job. I think Lopetegui will be the first one to go in terms of the managerial casualties. We know there will be casualties, Sir Cole. It's just a matter of who goes first. It's
Mhm.
just a matter of who goes
Mhm.
first. But Christoph, Everton versus Crystal Palace. Everton versus Crystal Palace. Neither of these teams have gotten a victory all season. Thus far, will this be the game?
Um, difficult call, but I'm going to go with Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace. So what says you in terms of a scoreline?
Crystal Palace 2-1.
2-1 to Crystal Palace. What says you, Sir Cole? I like your take on this game. As Christoph said, it should be a tightly fought game. I mean, that man from Crystal Palace, Sir Cole, he should have a say. One of your favorite footballers.
Izzy.
Which one is that?
Eze, Eze.
Actually, I actually prefer Olise more than Eze, to be honest. But I'm thinking Everton for 2 weeks have thrown away leads. Everton had a 2-0 lead over Bournemouth, threw it away, took the lead I think last week, and also threw away those 3 points as well. Crystal Palace must be kicking themselves that yes, by now they should have won a game, and I'm thinking that this game will be the game that they actually do win. I'm calling Palace as well for this one, 2 goals to 1.
Palace for that one. And the next game on the agenda, we have Forest versus Fulham, Christoph. Forest
Fulham.
versus
Can't see
Fulham.
past Fulham. Fulham are playing so well. Those former
But
Arsenal
Forest is
players.
unbeaten in the league thus far.
I think Fulham has more firepower.
What says you, Sir Cole? Fulham versus Forest. Or Forest versus
Forest that
Fulham, I should say. Forest at home for
Forest
this one.
has Forest is person just look at the name and say, yeah man, it's Forest. So they should what
Yeah, they're playing
Forest has
some good
been
football.
playing, they have been playing some very efficient stuff. And for sure I do not see them losing if they don't win. I actually think that this one will be even for both teams. I'm calling a 1-1 draw.
I'm gonna go for a 1-0 Forest win, to be honest with you. If I was a betting man, I'll definitely bet for a 1-0 Forest win. So, but definitely this is a game to keep a close eye on. This one should be very tight, very closely fought. As mentioned, Forest is still one of the unbeaten teams in the league. They have not lost all season just yet. And I think that train continues to rumble on. Wolves versus Liverpool, Sir Cole. Wolves versus Liverpool.
Well, Wolves have gotten a series of bites from Chelsea. I believe that's the game when Chelsea scored six. Liverpool has been rampant in attack, very solid as well in defense. Another routine win for Liverpool, minimum of three goals to nil.
3 goals to 0. So you're saying it's a routine win away from home for Liverpool.
Routine win at a minimum of, so 3 plus.
So you're giving Wolves absolutely no chance in this one, then, Sir Cole. It should possibly be a Chelsea-like performance from Liverpool, then.
Yeah, I think so. Wolves has been scoring some goals, but I don't think they can break down this pool defense. I don't see them having. I don't see them finding it this weekend to break down
Mm.
Liverpool.
Well,
No.
I won't disagree with your assessment there. Christoph, Ipswich versus Aston Villa. Ipswich versus Aston Villa.
Aston Villa.
Aston
3-1.
Villa all the way, 3-1. Yeah, Aston Villa should win this one as well. Ipswich recently promoted team. Might give a good fight, but I think Aston Villa has too much firepower, too much confidence is in that team currently for me to see anything other than a victory. And the final game on the agenda circle, this one coming up on Monday. So there's EPL football on Monday as well. Bournemouth versus Southampton. That's the final game of the agenda. Bournemouth versus Southampton.
Yes, Southampton is really feeling this is the EPL. This is not the championship. Bournemouth, I think, has been playing some good stuff. Maybe not getting, the results that they want every week, but very entertaining team. And I'm thinking that Bournemouth should go out again and get 3 points in this one. I'm taking Bournemouth for a 2-0 win.
Definitely some impressive performance by Bournemouth. Even though they lost to Liverpool, I was quite impressed with their style of play, and I agree. It should be a Bournemouth win on that big Monday game, in all honesty. But Christoph, we're coming to the end of the podcast. Any final thoughts as it relates to this weekend of EPL action coming up?
Well, in terms of the EPL, the action has not been shot since the start of the season, so I'll be expecting more of the same of that. For me, the biggest concern about the EPL is the quality of the referees so far.
Referees. Well, you've been giving it to the referees all season, Christoph. Hopefully, we can see some improvement in the weeks to come. We'll be coming to you when we do the review. What's your take on the referees? But Sir Cole, final thoughts.
Glad to be back. Sorry I was absent for the last few episodes of the podcast, but looking forward to another weekend of entertaining football, and hopefully on Tuesday we can review 10 exciting games.
Indeed. Well, thanks again to Christoph and Sir Cole for coming on board and really sharing their thoughts and their opinions. Viewers and subscribers, thank you again for tuning in to us here on Beating the Press podcast. Your support has been tremendous, and we have moved past the 400 subscriber number, and we're heading towards 500, but we can only do it with your help. So please continue to share the podcast. And if you haven't subscribed as yet, hit that subscription bell. But until next time, this is Rafa signing off.